Not letting you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Now that
and then you're low rider.
No, I charged it.
That's like
You do?
keyboard.
Yeah. This is like super slow. No, I did do my side. All right, Dwight, you ready to get started? If y'all will stand for the pledge.
American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance.
Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Let us pray. God, you're amazing. I thank you for everything that you do and how you lead us. Lord, I pray that as we continue to do what you've given us and work with what you've given us, be stewards, that you give us wisdom and guidance and direction. Let us be wise in our decisions. Lord, protect all those that serve our county, our country, and all across the world. God, I just pray for protection and guidance. Be with us today in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay,
I had
first
it up.
item on the agenda is public comments. Do I hear any public comment? Okay. All right,
And Nancy.
oh, okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda and on item one, consider and or approve minutes from our last commissioners court meeting. Kelly, you have a,
Yes, Nancy Criswell, Library Director, submitted 2 corrections to the regular meeting on May 28th, 2024. Agenda item 8, consider and or approve request for the use of club rooms, Borger Library or Fritch. I put in $50 refundable deposit for Borger and it's 100. So I will make that correction or it will be shown in these minutes. Along with during the precinct daily operations, the group that she took president over is named as the Harrington User Group for the Panhandle Libraries. Okay. So those are the corrections that I have. I just had the Harrington Group.
okay, anybody else have anything they need to pull off the consent agenda to discuss? Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda with those corrections? Yes, sir.
So just for semantics, when we do consent items, we approve the consent items and then we have to approve the amendment separate.
Okay. We can't approve them with the changes?
No,
Okay. All right, so do I hear a motion to approve the consent items 2 through 7?
I move to approve the consent items as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, and then consent agenda item 1, which is approve the minutes Do I hear a motion to approve that with the amendments?
I move to approve the amendments, as stated. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, on the regular agenda, the first item on that is to hear a report from the Child Welfare Board. So you ladies want to come on up? And you can introduce yourselves.
I'm Diane Higgs. I'm treasurer for the Child Welfare Board.
I'm Kellen Waslick and Michelle Britton. Thanks for having us.
We're always happy to have y'all.
Thank you. We wanted to thank you for our budget every year. We very much appreciate it. The last few years, it's been mostly spent on school clothes. And we make sure that the budget is totally completed on school clothes. Thank you for allowing us to open it to the conservatorship children first, and then to the family-placed children who are, they're in the home, but they're being followed. Just to make sure that everything, the parents are going through all the things they should be going through. And then if we still have funds left, we allow investigations to have 2 cases. So really those two, that last group are the people who really need it most. But conservatorship comes first. Also wanted to let you know that the Texas Council of Child Welfare Boards has again begun holding a conference. The first one will be in February of next year. It's always held during the legislative session. It'll be in February, and it's a 2-day conference. The first day will be classes. One of them will be Child Welfare Board 101, and then several other classes that we hope will be interesting to people who make them want to attend. It will be $75, which is not much, and that covers the bus and or the shuttles and lunch for the first day. And the second day will be a trip to the Capitol, where we have our sheet of all the proposed agenda or legislation. And the advocacy committee will have already been through those and confirmed how that would affect the local child welfare boards. And we have caught several things over the years, Texas Council has, that would adversely affect us and every other small child welfare board. And typically these legislative items are because one big county had an issue. So it's up to the Texas Council to catch those things so that we don't lose sight of what we're supposed to do. So the second day, we're hoping that our conference attendees will stay over and go to the Capitol with us, because it's eye-opening how difficult it is to get around the Texas Capitol.
Yes, it is.
But also to go in and speak with our legislators one-on-one, and we try to pick the ones that are local legislators. And this is Texas Council, of course, serves all of Texas. And you know what? Child welfare boards are a Texas entity. This is not something that the rest of the states in the US do. And we're so proud of you guys for seeing that our kids in our county are protected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the conference is in Austin. Have they not been having it?
Well, there's been funding issues,
Oh,
but our our executive director that is now outgoing, but he was a caseworker. He was a judge for children. He was an executive in the Department of Family Protective Services retired. And so we hired him to come in and clean up the mess that occurred with the previous executive director. Anyway, that has been taken care of, funding's taken care of. We now have funds to not only fund the awards ceremony, which is in October. Various people, foster kid, foster boy, foster girl, that's, and also, then the conference. And that's something that we have very much needed because all of the other, charities that used to put on conferences have dissolved. So it's up to Texas Council to have something for our charities who protect our kids to go to every other year, because it'll only be during the legislative session, to learn. And so this will be our first one in February.
So thank you for allowing us to use some of the funding for conferences as well.
Yes, just wanted you to know that'll be another line item. Also, we have supplies, a few stamps and envelopes.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Well, I knew that. I think Carrie had been before, back when they were actually having it. And
Yes.
so that's good. I'm glad they're gonna get that going again for you.
Text for Text was, had most marvelous conferences, but they were so well funded. And it was a 3-day event, extravaganza.
Mhm.
This will be pretty much pared down. It'll be our first year, so we're getting our feet wet.
Good. Glad y'all are going.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to consider and or approve health insurance renewals for 2024-25. So, just as a preface, insurance renewals are gonna need to be in or decisions made so we can get them in the portal by the 28th. Is that right?
Yes.
So we don't necessarily have to make a decision today because we still have a meeting on the 24th. But we're going to listen to some information so we can make some informed decisions about how we want to go forward with our health insurance for the county employees. So Charlotte Rose is here today and Kathy Davenport is here. Kathy, you've made a lot of trips to the Panhandle lately and we appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Can I, do you have one I can give to? Yeah, thanks. And to Leisha too. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. You are welcome.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
So thank you for your time this morning. We've prepared a handout that goes over the increase from CAP and also your claims experience. So we laid the numbers out several different ways. Amy had asked us to lay out your employer contribution a little differently than we normally do. So I did it the old way and the new way. But if you open up the packet on page 1, I used your scenario, your funding scenario that you have for this current plan year and took it to the next 10 years. We do have a 7.9% increase. We'll look at the claims in just a second, but you are still running over 100% paid loss ratio. So Blue Cross is paying out more than you're paying in, which has been the case ever since I've been involved, pretty much since the beginning. So 7.9 is really less than what we call a trend increase. Trend is an inflationary factor. Trend normally runs about 9% on medical claims and around 12 for RX. So your increase is under a trend increase. So if you look, the first 2 columns are your HSA compatible plans. So your high deductible health plan that's paired with the health savings account. That plan has a $5,000 deductible, and then it's 100% coverage. And currently, the county is for those employees that choose that plan, you are funding $1,500 a year into their HSA account. So their net spend, worst case scenario on that plan is $3,500. But because it is a high deductible health plan that can be paired with an HSA, remember it cannot have any first dollar coverage, i.e. office visit copays, pulling up to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription, no copays there. So what it does cover without any deductible required are your preventative care visits. So when Obamacare came out, there's a preventative care task force that tells insurance carriers what they have to cover at 100% no deductible in any plan. And pretty much it's your well checkup each year for the women, their mammograms, pap smears, certain birth control, inoculations, flu shots, well baby exams, things of that nature. Okay, so those things on this high deductible health plan, there is no cost to the employee as long as they're in network. But all your sick visits, surgery, sick visit to the doctor, those prescriptions, you're going to fund the first $5,000, whether that's out of their personal funds, HSA dollars, and then the plan pays 100%. So this plan has a 7.9% increase. And if you look, I've shown you your employer contribution. It's about 2/3 of the way down. So currently, for the people on that plan, you have 69 that are just covering themselves. You're covering 100% of the total cost for the employee only, which is $1,161.61. And then for anyone with child or children, spouse, or family, you're funding $1,206.21. So a little bit of a contribution towards those dependent costs. If we keep that same strategy based on the renewal numbers, it takes your rate to $1,252.88, your funding rate to $1,252.88. And then you fund $1,304.92 towards dependent cost. So beneath that, you can see that your cost would go from $89,000 monthly to $96,888. Okay. For that plan. To the right of that is your copay plan. So right now you have 25 employees on the copay plan that are just covering themselves, one covering a spouse. That plan has a $2,500 deductible, but those office visits, prescriptions are not subject to that deductible. When they go to the doctor, they're paying a $40 office visit copay for primary care, $50 for specialist. The deductible is going to come into play when they have surgery, MRI, CAT scan, something major. And so they'll pay the first $2,500, and then Blue's going to pay 80% of the eligible charge. And the member is going to pay 20% until the 20% equates to $4,350 in a calendar year. So the true out-of-pocket maximum on that plan is your deductible of $2,500 and then the $4,350. So that plan also has that same 7.9% increase. So if we keep the employer, the county contribution the same, it takes your contribution from $33,623 a year to $36,280. Right, any questions on either of those two plans? So we did, Amy had asked that we show a $4,000 HSA plan. So to lower the deductible from the $5,000 to the $4,000, it's 100% coverage. Excuse me. Basically, it's going to cost $750 more per year per employee to bring that deductible down by that $1,000. So that really makes no sense to me. We were talking earlier, and it's like I buy a $1,000 truck and I'm going to pay $750 in insurance premium to cover that truck. So I don't think that's a good alternate to lower that deductible on that plan. The next page, we laid out the employer or the county contribution a little different. And so of course the rates are exactly the same as are at the top. But what we showed you here is for you to continue to pay 100% of that HSA option, which is the $1,161. but to pay half of the dependent cost. So when we look at that, you can see that it takes your employer contribution up from a 7.92% increase to 11.77. So it takes it from $1,077,000 to $1,002,000 a year. Your dependent costs are high. That's why you don't see many employees covering dependents on your plan. Do you want to speak to any of this, Amy? Of the survey and?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
We'll go to the very last part of that, scroll down. I think the survey is on there. I think.
It's on the.
So I sent y'all an email, just kind of what I was looking at. I also sent the survey response. We had 63 respondents
I think the last
for the
one,
survey.
last one.
Of course, you know, each employee, y'all asked to reach out to the employees and the employees spoke back and said that they would like to have better coverage.
That's not it.
Less of a deductible and more support for the child and dependent coverage. So we know that the rates aren't going to go down. So we're just asking this year if maybe the court would approve to cover some of that dependent portion. So as Charlotte stated on the 4,000, that's understanding on lowering the deductible. However, if maybe y'all can contribute to the children's dependents and or the family plans. In that survey, let me grab this one. In the survey, there was 10 so this is kind of just a guesstimate on the results. There was 10 people that said they would add spouse coverage. There was 12 employees that would add children.
If it was more
If
affordable.
this was more affordable, and there was 10 for the family. So in this, so I did a little configuration if that was the case. And we did contribute half of the dependent family children's coverage, then that would, depending on whether they were on the 80/20 plan or the HSA plan, that would be $303,160 more on the 80/20 and $244,099 more on the HSA plan.
So we have 15 people in total that have declined the coverage completely.
Correct.
Because they either have access to an employer plan or like their spouse's employer plan, or maybe a previous employer that they're retired from. You know, sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. Not knowing what their health conditions are, but typically, you know, people turning the plan down are younger, healthier people that have a better option somewhere else, not always. And you want those younger, healthier people on your plan.
At the rate that we're going, I think it's going to end up hurting us than helping us on these rates. We have more people that are, eliminating or not wanting the plan. So it's not gonna be good later on and down the road. So the more people that waive, the more than likely all our healthy people aren't gonna be on there because they're waiving their coverage. And it's gonna make our percentages even higher later.
Well, the healthy people should be on the HSA because it doesn't cost them anything and they get free money.
Correct,
So
but
that's,
the problem.
that's our fault for not educating them if they're declining.
We've tried,
We
we've tried.
Every year we educate.
I'm not saying we're not doing it.
Right,
So I'm just saying that's our fault for not having them on it.
but the thing is, A lot of the problem is let's say our employees, what they do is they're on a spouse's plan and it's an HSA plan. The HSA plan and the 80-20 plan, they don't communicate well. You can't have both. You can have both, but it causes lots of issues.
You can't have a health savings account if you have other first dollar coverage. So
Right.
if I'm your employee and I'm on my spouse's plan and he has a copay plan, I can take your high deductible health plan, but I can't contribute into the health savings account because I have other coverage. And I think that, the county's done a good job of communicating the HSA plan, because if you look, that's where the majority of your enrollment is. I think there's always going to be some people that just don't understand. I see it within
I
my
mean, we have
50 employees.
added people nearly every year
Yeah.
to that, so.
Because you have
Try.
69, 74, 77 in total on your high deductible health plan and 26
We
on your
lost,
copay plan.
we lost 10 though. I was gonna ask that. Do you know, because we had like 85 last year. They were on the HSA total.
We've had
Did
some
they-
that waived, and then, of course, the lower amount on the deputies that were shorthanded too probably has, a little effect on this. But a lot of them that are coming in to replace are waiving coverage. So we've had multiple, I think we had 10 last year that waived coverage, now we have 5. So I mean, it's not a huge difference, but if the trend continues, it's just gonna not be good for the county. I just want to make.
You don't want healthy people on the 80-20 though. You want healthy people on the HSA. So if they're gonna decline, they're gonna decline. I
Right,
mean, when you give them a free plan and they still decline versus like paying half their deductible, they're still gonna decline. So I mean, there's not a way to get them on if they're gonna decline, unfortunately.
well, I understand that, there's gonna be, but there's still gonna be some that will still not decline, whether or not. If we make these changes, so.
I was just saying, using the healthy people as the example, they need to be on the HSA and not, we don't need to be.
But if we get healthy dependents, added on there, because we can afford to pay maybe half and they would be able to afford insurance. Our average employee probably makes 50,000 a year. So if we were able to put those extra dependents on that are healthy, the younger people on there, that would actually help increase and maybe even lower our percentage next year or the next year or the next year. I might not see a big result right then, but maybe later.
Well, and when you look at the claims experience, you'll see that without your top 2 claimants, you ran great. And, 20% of the people typically spend 80% of the dollars. And you've just year in and year out had 2 to 5 people that are having really high claims.
Very last attachment. Yeah. Those are our survey results.
And having a no-cost option that's a really good benefit to employees, and contributing $1,500 into their HSA account is also a good benefit. The dependent premium is high. It's high though, really with every case. It is. So it's just, if it's keeping you from attracting and retaining employees, we just wanted to lay those numbers out for you to look at what it would cost the county if you were to increase your dependent contribution. Go ahead and flip page 3. So I showed you this last year. This is based on the $1,500 employee or whether you had $1,000 or $1,500. Based on the current enrollment, what it's costing the county to contribute those dollars into their HSA account. Remember, those dollars are theirs. If they don't use them, they don't lose them, they take them with them. Once you make the deposit into their account, it is their money. They can leave your employment the very next day and those dollars go with them, okay? And then when we look at the claims experience, page 4. Page 4 is the HSA plan, which is where the majority of your enrollment is. So on that plan, you paid in premium. The county paid in $1,140,095 into Blue Cross or into TAC. They paid out $1,522,000 on medical claims, 117 on pharmacy claims, for a total paid of $1,640,000. So your pharmacy looks great. We're starting to see a lot of cases where the pharmacy spend is at least 50% or more of what the medical spend is. So this just tells me you didn't have anyone on a high dollar drug, which is a good thing. But you did have claims in excess of premium by $500,000. And then your PPO copay plan, what y'all call the 80/20 plan, paid in $486,157 in premium. There were $131,981 in medical claims. But look at your pharmacy claims. They exceed the medical spend of $188. So you had a total spend of $323.61. Okay. So those people choosing that copay plan, they want that pharmacy copay. All right, so that next page, page 6, shows you any claimant with over $10,000 in total spend, and you had 22 of those. And top 3 claimants are all over $100,000, with the top claimant being 668,554. As of the time that TAC ran this report, that member was still active. I have no way of knowing if they're still active on your plan or not. Same thing with claimant number 2 at 595. And claimant number 3 at 106. So if we pull out those top 3 claimants, you're looking at about $1.2 million in spend. And if you look at what your spend was for the 2 plans combined, it ran about $1.9 million. So your claims without those top 3 claimants look really good. It's just, you've got 3 people, spending the majority of the dollars, which is not unusual. Any questions on that? Page 7 really just kind of talks about what we were already talking about. This is a report I like from Blue Cross that shows how many claimants had claims within these different paid bands. So at the top, you can see, less than $200 in spend, you had 53 people, 18 people in the 200 to 1,000. And you can just look on down. And then you've got these 3, 1 claimant between the 30,000 and the 50,000. This actually runs on a different time period than the report TAC issued. So you don't see the 1 person in the $100,000, but there are those 2 people at the bottom that are 250 or 500 at the time it's report generated. Right, any questions on that? Amy had asked us to show you what the cost difference would be if you raised the cost or the volume on the life insurance from 10,000 per employee to 20. And I am pretty sure I have that listed on it wrong. I believe the rates stayed exactly the same. It's just your premium would double. Okay. So currently. So the rate per thousand. Do you have it, Kathy?
Yes, ma'am, on the basic term is, what, 268?
Yeah, it stays the same. It's right here in this email. So right now you're paying $298 per employee per month. It would go to $596. If that were something you were wanting to do. And then on page 9, you currently have an outside vendor that offers a dental plan to your employees. And you don't have a very good enrollment. And honestly, it's not a great dental plan. So TAP gave us a quote from Blue Cross for their dental and also adding a vision plan. I also sent it to market to all of the carriers that I work with. And the TAP dental for a contributory plan, which means that the county's paying half of the dental, nothing of the vision. It was by far the best rate and the best coverage of anybody I looked at, okay? What TAC wouldn't show us is a voluntary dental plan, which is what you currently have right now, which means there would be no employer contribution to the plan. It would just be on the employee. And the reason they said they would not offer that, their underwriters said, is because you currently don't have good enrollment. I personally disagree with them declining to do it because you don't have good enrollment because you don't have a good plan.
Right.
And it hasn't been explained correctly. So if you want to look at, I have rates on a voluntary plan from the carriers that we typically work with on dental. And they're good quotes, but they're going to be higher than this, but they're not going to require 50% participation like this one does.
And,
okay?
and the TAC one does.
The TAC is going to require 50% enroll and that the county pays 50% of the cost. So the way that the Blue Cross quote was better than the quotes that I looked at is it has the same deductible, $50 per person per calendar year, no more than $150 per family. It's waived for your preventative care. Preventative care is covered at 100%. That's your cleanings every 6 months, fluoride treatments for kiddos under the age of 14, your periodic x-rays, exams, your basic services, crowns, caps, bridges, and endodontics and periodontics are covered at 80%. The quotes that I asked for from the other carriers, I had that covered at the 50% level, and they still came out higher than the Blue Cross quote. So endodontics, periodontics at 80, major at 50, crowns, caps, bridges, and then they pay until a maximum of $1,500 per person per lifetime. TAC also included an orthodontic benefit as well as the everybody I went to did as well, but they are quoting the orthodontics on children and adults, okay? And then we had them quote, like we did everyone else, a dental PPO. So most dentists are not in anyone's dental network because dentists don't need steerage to their practice. Their chairs are filled. The independent practice dentists who you typically see in network with any dental carrier or the corporately owned places. And in Amarillo, Advana Dental, Cool Smiles, Abbeville Dental, sometimes they rotate dentists in and out. So we have any plan that we ever represent for our clients has what's called a 90th percentile reimbursement for out-of-network claims. So this is going to pay the same amount in or outside the network. So my dentist is not my network. When I go to him, he charges $14 more for a cleaning than my plan allows. So he balance bills me that $14. And I know that going in. If he were in my network, he would write it off, okay? So you can see the rates at the bottom here. And again, this is based on the county paying 50% of the employee only costs. So it would be half of the $29.10. And can't tell you what the monthly cost would be because I don't know how many people would enroll, okay? But nothing of the dependent costs. And then the vision plan, they actually quoted 3 plans and I chose their mid plan. So basically a low, a mid and a high plan. This vision plan that I chose that they quoted really is in line with what we see with our whole book of business. So they're using the IMED network. It's the exact same network I have with a different carrier. It's a really good network. You would have an eye exam every 12 months after a $10 copayment. Do lenses every 12 months after a $15 copayment. And that's actually a little lower than what we typically see. It's usually about $25. And that's for lenses, whether they're single vision, bifocal or trifocal lenses. What they don't cover is to take those lines out, to make them progressive lenses. Or if you like the lenses when you walk outside and they transition to sunglasses, that's out of your pocket, okay? And then contact lenses are every 12 months and they'll pay up to $130 towards those. Fitting and evaluation have a $40 copayment, okay? You cannot get a set of frames or full glasses and contacts in the same year. It's one or the other, okay? And then you see the cost at the bottom. It's really inexpensive. When I went to my eye doctor last time and bought new glasses, I still had a huge bill because I wear trifocals and I had the lines taken out. And I just said, what would this have cost me had I not had this plan? Because I'm thinking it's not very expensive, but am I wasting my money? And it was almost double had I not had this. So again, the vision's voluntary, does not require an employer contribution. All right, any questions on that? Anything you would like to see laid out differently for employer contribution? As you guys talk about it, if you'll let Amy know, we'll be glad to run those numbers and lay them out how you want to see them. Again, like the judge said, TAC requires a decision by June.
So that means
Well,
we have
actually-
one more meeting.
So everything can get in the portal by June the
Right.
28th. Yeah, so if maybe by the next meeting, you could have a decision. And then we will come out and hold open enrollment meetings again here and in Border like we do every year with the employees to go over the 2 plans and explain the HSA with them.
Of which y'all do an awesome job and
Well,
we
thank you.
appreciate you.
Gary in my office is really good at that. All
Any
right,
questions for Charlotte?
okay,
A lot of information
it is. Thank you.
to look at. Kathy, did you have anything to add?
No, I was just here for backup. for
Moral
Charlotte.
support?
Yeah, if y'all had questions that.
And you know, Kathy and Stacy were here earlier and went over the 7.9 increase, which is, I think, Amy, is that less than we got last year?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, we're doing better.
Yes.
Let's look at the positive. Yeah.
Kathy, I do have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Could you have all the counties' plans? Do you send those to other counties with similar populations and like a breakdown where we can see what other counties are doing? I know it's not black and white. I know it's gonna be gray because all the different claims and stuff are different, but that would give us a little bit more vision into kind of what other counties similar to us are doing. Do y'all have that broken down?
I don't, I would have to pull the information and compile it. I can tell you just today. Only the larger counties are contributing anything.
To an HSA?
Well, for any type of dependent care.
Right.
I literally only have a couple of groups that have HSA plans. And most of them do not contribute towards the HSA. There's just not a lot outside of paying that employee only rate that the majority of my groups can afford to do. That's just it for my groups up here.
But you have a lot
Y'all are-
of small counties
Yeah,
too. up
y'all
here.
are considered one
Because
of
we
my
just- us-
largest groups.
Right.
Pampa, Hartford, Moore County would be kind of the same ballpark.
Pays their deductible, so they have them on the age.
They pay, well, they
Pay their deductible if they hit it.
They pay a portion of the deductible. What they opted to do a couple of years ago, they doubled their deductible whenever they joined the pool. And that deductible difference between what their new deductible was and their previous one, the county will reimburse the employee once they pay that extra portion of that deductible. We have more groups that do it that way.
How does that
So.
legally, oh, no.
It's, well, the employee,
Because you have to tax that somehow.
well, what we do is we provide, because the employee, it's a reimbursement, it's not income, it's a reimbursement. So,
HRA.
yeah.
Reimbursement account.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so there is still a portion, it's not just, hey, I spent $300 at the doctor's office, can I get a check for that?
Right, we provide, like in
Okay.
Carson County's case,
That makes sense, because
we provide them a report. Because as the employer, you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
On what you ask for. We have a lot of groups who are asking for EOBs and we're like, no, don't do that. That's very, EOB is an explanation of benefits showing
What they spend it on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that goes against PHI. You have to really,
That's a private bill.
Mhm.
yeah. You have to, some are requiring receipts. Well, receipts may have that on there
have
too.
wrong information.
So any
Yeah.
group that has that type of arrangement with their employees, we provide them. And literally all the report shows is the member's name, the whatever date we run the reports for, and in total, how much they've paid either towards the deductible or, in that, and that eliminates a lot of it, and they pay according to that. Like I said, we have a lot of groups who have that arrangement with the employees. We're starting to see that amount of that reimbursement drop over time, because they use that as their measure to estimate their costs.
And we're the consultant on Randall County's coverage, and your plans look pretty similar to what they're doing. They offer a copay plan and a high deductible health plan. Now, they're not in a tax pool. They're self-funded with IMS, but they make a contribution towards the HSA account. One of the differences between what you're doing and what they're doing is they charge the employee more if they're a tobacco user. So the employee has to attest to the fact that they're a non-tobacco user, and if they are, they get charged a surcharge. Actually, we don't call it that way. We do it the opposite way. We say you're getting a premium decrease if you are, or an incentive if you're not.
What do they do 6 months later and they find out that person is
Well,
smoking?
so-
They said no.
You do offer, if you have a charge for being a tobacco user, you have to offer them a reasonable accommodation to earn the tobacco credit. And so that is either they can quit, or they can go through an online program, or go to the American Cancer Society and go through their tobacco cessation class. And as long as they complete the class, they earn the credit. Doesn't matter if they quit smoking, but they have to do, or dipping or whatever, vaping, they have to do that every plan year. So it's hard to keep up with a little bit, especially in a county that size. But I have a group, that the HR employee, they have the tobacco credit. And she'll call us and say, okay, I see Joe, he's outside my window smoking, and he went through our system and said he doesn't use tobacco. We need to change him right now. We're charging him more. So you kind of become
You have to police that
big
yourself.
brother. Yeah, a little bit. Mhm.
Well, I know I've asked this question before, and this is not personal at all. is the fact that we're using Upshaw as our broker. Does that affect our premiums at any level?
There is a commission or a fee in for using Upshaw. It's $15. It's noted at
I
the
saw,
bottom.
yeah, I saw that on the dental.
Per enrolled employee, not on the dependents per month. So $15.42. Typically, what a broker charges is around $35. We cut it through the years to help the county keep the costs low. So do you have to have a broker? No, you don't.
What would be the
Outside
fee
of-
for you?
Well,
But the broker
outside
is
of
completely
TAC.
outside of town.
Right,
Yeah.
if you go with the plan that's outside of TAC, if you go with even regular Blue Cross Blue Shield, you would have to have.
Yeah, they won't. TAC will let you not have a broker. But if you wanted to go to market and look at different carriers, those carriers will not write a group without a broker.
Yeah, they
So
won't write
if
it.
you want to know how I got involved in why TAC,
Even with
We
broker.
can get 5 brokers now, right?
I know.
I worked at Blue Cross for 9 years and then the county, gosh, I'm really dating myself here, in 92, 3, you were with a different carrier. I left Blue Cross, went to Upshaw. The county went out on RFP and I got a quote from Blue Cross. And so not through TAC wasn't in existence then. And y'all went with Blue Cross through Upshaw. And then when the TAC program came out, we saw the value in it and we went to TAC and got a quote from TAC to put the county into TAC, the TAC pool. Because, and I know I say this every year, but I'm carrier agnostic. It doesn't matter to me whether you're with United Healthcare, you're with TAC pool, you're with Blue Cross Direct. My job is to make sure you have the best deal. TAC pool has been the best deal for you, hands down. If you were with a carrier direct, your increases would be much higher. And network wise, I mean, your claims are your claims, no matter what carrier you're with. There is no magic. We just want to make sure you have the best discount on your claims that you can get. And Blue Cross has really good discounts. United Healthcare does too, but they don't have this county pool. There is a broker in Amarillo pushing his own network and saying it's saving like 40–50%.
Is that the High Plains? Oh,
It is,
okay.
and it is not true.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely not true. That individual could not walk in and negotiate a better deal with a hospital and a group of providers, and that's what he's saying he's done, than Blue Cross gets or that IMS's Omni gets. They're big. They're going to push a lot of business to those doctors and those hospitals. While one individual in Amarillo, Texas thinks they're getting a better deal, I just really think they don't understand the whole way everything works. So
I was gonna ask the judge, in the years you've been judge, have y'all, again, not personal, have you went
I'm not
out
taking
for
it
other
personal.
brokers, in the
No.
years you've been here?
If I may, every year, part of outside of the actual renewal process, the other consultants, we sit down and we look at our agents and our consultants that we work with. And we look at the individual commission rates. Charlotte's commission is literally the lowest in the state right now. And kind of what I was referring to whenever we were up here for the training day is making sure you get the best bang for your buck in that. I can tell you, you're getting it with Charlotte and Upshaw. We have a lot of groups that are paying. Specifically, I've got one group that I meet with this week that is paying $37
Per employee.
per employee per month, and that agent never steps foot in that county.
will you give me the name?
Oh, if I could, I would.
Just teasing.
No, because that's just it. That's part of what we look at whenever we're working with agents is what they are doing. And to take a cut, on her income and the service that she does for Brooklyn. Coming from a former county elected official, to me, that is a huge bonus that you cannot beat.
Well, and I'll just say why we do it, and, I have a service background, that's what I did at Blue Cross, I was a service rep, and I worked with the county then. And when I moved to Upshaw, I'm looking for long-term partners. I don't wanna come in and like work with somebody for a year or two and then be out the door. That doesn't do the client any good, and it doesn't do my team any good. So when your rates, were just skyrocketing, we felt like we needed to help step in and lower what we could in the commission so that it would make it a little more palatable. So that's why we do it. And, but to answer your question, Dwight, no, you do not have to have a broker through TAC. What we do is do market checks each year. If anything looks good, then we have to go out on full RFP for you. So that lets any broker quote it, and work with Kathy and her team during the renewal process. And then we do your open enrollment meetings each year. So work with them and handle calls from Amy.
Yeah, lots of
And
claims too, yeah,
and-
that Charlotte will go out to bat for people when maybe Blue Cross has denied a claim or whatever. Charlotte
That pharmacy.
will work with them to see if we can't get those things paid.
Yes.
Well, I did a rough estimate, as y'all were talking, and it's about 21,000 a year. Cause it's every person that signs up, right?
Every employee.
Oh, just.
Employee.
So then it's less than that.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
only-
around 15, 16.
Yeah, 17
Yeah,
something.
17.
I think that's fine.
I apologize. I added
That's fine.
dependents.
That's okay. That's fine.
It should still only be like the one employee though, like the.
I did 69.5 or 25 and then times 15 times 12. Right?
You're right. But then the 3 and the 5 are just employees, that
Yeah.
didn't count like family, so that's two, that's 8 different employees.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you have to add all those. You're just not counting us, counting Ohio.
Okay, so it is about 20,000 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would it be easier to email the judge, like Judge Wagner, reporter and?
Well,
Rhodes to get-
Moore County isn't pooled with
Moore
TAC,
County is not, the counties up here that I do not have.
and neither does Jeff Smith.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is all the way from the top 5 counties all the way down to Interstate 20. I'm gonna start at the top. I don't have Ochiltree. I don't have Gray. I don't have Moore. I don't have Des Smith, Potter, or Randall, or Motley. Everybody else is in the pool.
So we're like the largest county that you have in the. You said that a little bit ago, didn't you? Yeah.
If I rank the counties by size, it's Taylor County, Yoakum County, y'all.
I do want to preference why I asked that question because many of our employees, I say many, 8 probably, in the last 3 years, want us as board to do more investigating, find better insurance because they all claim other places have better insurance than we do. And so that's why I was asking that question. So just to kind of make sure that we are getting the best. I mean, I know we've asked for letters of refusals and all of that stuff, but just wanted to ask the question.
Funded, maybe.
And so it's not, again, I know I've said it 3 times. This is not personal, it's business. And so,
The majority of my groups do not have the $2,500 deductible plan. 1,500 to 2,000 is pretty much middle of the road.
Okay.
But Hutchinson County has been in a unique position for a number of years. I mean, I've been with the pool 8 years and well, we're starting to see your claims come down. Where they weren't as bad as they were 8 years ago, they're still really high.
What about Hockley County? Is Hockley County pool?
Hockley County is in the,
Because they're about our size.
So while you both are here, I know you can't tell us what to do, but crunching all the numbers with all the counties, what would you, would just like to personally hear what you would say you, both worlds see would benefit us, would benefit our employees while not punishing the, like the taxpayers to have a huge increase on their end too, but what numbers look best?
The most cost effective for us.
Well, I mean, I just received our renewal. We're with United Healthcare, over 50 employees, so we're nowhere near the size you are, but 55 people on our plan. And we have 3 plans. We have 2 high deductible health plans and 1 co-pay plan. The majority of the employees are all on a high deductible health plan. It's our goal, mine and my partners, to make sure we keep a no-cost option. So that is a $6,350 deductible HSA plan. Okay, so it's high. And then we charge them for it. We call them buy-up plans. Our goal, number 1, is to make sure our employees taken care of and that we keep a no-cost option for them. We want to help them with their dependents, but, and I can only speak from our financial situation, our rates, we had a 47% increase one year and a 27% the next. We had to cut back on what we were contributing towards the dependent cost to be able to continue to put some money into their HSA account and offer that no-cost option. So I think every group is different. Every employer is different based on, what your budget is versus what my budget is. But my number 1 goal is to make sure our employees have a no-cost option and to keep our dependent premium as affordable as we can. But we represent about 400 different employer plans, and the dependent costs, the rates look like mortgages. I've never had them, $3,178. That's not just your plan. That's the market that we're in. So I don't know if that helps or not, but I think that's really more your decision and what's going on with your budget.
And I'll just make just what I've seen. So for example, on the employee that have children on their plan for the HSA, if they covered 100% of the increase, that's about $98 of the increase. And so if we gave that employee a $200 a month raise this year, they're really only getting $100 a month raise because 98 of it is going to cover their kid. So just something also to think about.
Those who have insurance.
Yeah, for those who have it.
Those who don't have insurance make $200.
Right.
There's a lot of employees that don't even have insurance,
Yeah.
because on their children. So their children are non-insured because they can't afford the insurance. So, that's another reason that I'm reaching out. I don't feel that would increase the tax rate for, our county taxpayers. I don't feel that increasing or helping our employees or giving to them would, increase anybody's taxes.
Well, if all 30 of those people took that, it would be a $500,000 increase automatically.
Right, but we have $12 million that are in our fund balance that we're not here to make money. We could put a little bit towards, helping our employees and making the individual better.
So that's
insurance. So that's all my plan.
we also need to run about a 6 to 8 month surplus. So it's not, we can't zero that out. So I'm
Well,
just,
that was a 9.5 months.
right.
That we could, without getting any, without receiving any kind of payment, we could survive on 9.5 months, which normally it's usually 3 to 6. At the most.
And then 2 years though, a $500,000 increase though, then that's wiped out. So then what do we do after that?
Well, I mean, even if you did that, the thing is we could, see how our rates are. Maybe they won't go up. We can,
That's just, I'm saying, none of us want to hurt our employees and like she was saying, our goal is to fully fund our employees first and foremost. And then if we can, help the spouse, the dependents as much as we can. We don't want the top three users of insurance to go away. We need those plans for there. So I mean, we're not gonna find a black and white solution that's gonna fix everybody's problem that has kids or that has a spouse. But we can also, I mean, in my opinion, we can't just throw all the benefits at them because we have a surplus of money. We need to invest that money at some point, but in 2 years, we're back down to 6 months if we have all of those that choose $500,000 that we're gonna throw in there. So
One of the things that some of our clients do on an HSA plan is they tier their HSA contribution based on enrollment. So an employee only gets $1,000. I'm only covering myself. Maybe I'm just making up a number, $1,000 into my HSA account. Where if I have dependents, I get 1,500 or I get 2,000. So instead of maybe.
So incentivize it that way.
Mhm. And send it there instead of in the premium. Or, some will, when they do have a big surplus, they will just keep the rates the same, where the employer takes all the increase on the dependent costs instead of passing it on. So you're not increasing, but you're also not lowering that number.
The problem is we don't know what our surplus is until after we make this decision. Because
Would you want me to lay out the numbers of what it would cost the county if you did keep dependent deductions exactly where they are? So you're not paying 50% of the total cost, which is a big number. But you just ate the difference.
I think she did it and you did.
No, I didn't do that. No, I kept on the first page 1. See, their costs would go up. I kept how you currently fund the scenario, the exact same with the renewal increase.
Well, that's just a renewal increase, not our additional contribution.
No, this has you taking a little bit more and the employee taking. So your contribution goes up and the employee's contribution goes up. The second.
So it all stays the same. So then it becomes $1,598,000 for HSA renewal.
Yeah, but that is what the employer
It's not a-
contribution is.
Contribution.
Okay.
That's-
Right.
The employee's deductions are going up as well. They're at the very bottom under this scenario.
Right.
The second page is a totally different scenario. That's you paying 100% of the employee only, but also starting to contribute 50% of the dependent cost. Oh, okay. So Amy sent you exactly what we were talking about scenario wise.
Yeah.
If you were to not charge them anything
It's that,
over what they're currently paying, you
Yeah,
kept the
yeah.
deductions
the
the same.
Excel spreadsheet on that email I sent you.
You're 48,000 more a year? Yes. Okay.
It's not attached to.
No, I sent it to Jerry.
Because of.
Yeah.
the difference.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people make decisions based on where they're at in life. I remember when I was younger, fighting for my dependents, because I had them. Now I don't have dependents. My wife depends on me, but that's about it. So it's a mindset that we have to kind of get in as we think about stuff like that. We're empty nesters, so we don't have children to put on a plan. She has her own plan. I have mine. And I know at different levels where you are, Amy, where different people are, you're thinking about children and stuff. And so we we as commissioners have to be in that middle ground. We have to think on the, not just about children, but also not just about people with children. You have to find that middle ground. And that's where we're at. And I know it seems
And that's why we
daunting.
did the survey, so we could reach out, not so where it's just, based on a certain someone or whatnot. So
Right.
that's why we, did the survey, so we could reach out to all the employees. Did all of them reach out? No. So, but we did, have a pretty good, percentage to go off of, so I think that, helped as well.
Yeah. And just as, not to speak for the commissioners, but we also have to look at the raise aspect of future and benefits and dental plans and vision plans and calculate all of that together and figure out what our next step is. Because I know there are some counties I've talked to that chose benefits this year, no raises. Then there are some counties that said raises, but just a little bit of benefit. And I don't know exactly where we're at, but those are the things we have to process as commissioners and judges. I know that you're like, well, duh.
We understand. I'm just reaching out to be an advocate from the employees, and the complaints that we've had throughout the year. And that's, that's why, I did present, this increase. Not only adding vision, dental, even increasing the life insurance, which I understand we can't do all of it, but these are just some things that they had reached out to us. Life insurance alone, 10,000 doesn't even, cover burial anymore. So that was the reason that was added in there. Also, I've had a lot of employees reach out on the retirees, not providing the retirees insurance as well. So I kind of wanted, to bring that back as well, or try to figure out some way that we can get these employees that had been working here for 20, 30 years that, wanted that or needed that coverage so they could retire before the age of 65. So these are just some of the things that have been brought to my attention. So I wanted to speak out. So that way, y'all know what's going on and what the employees are wanting. We're talking about. So
Thank you.
thank y'all so much for your time.
And thank you both for all your work. I appreciate that.
Do you guys have any more questions for Charla or today?
We need to get them out now because they won't be here. Y'all are coming next meeting, right?
Unfortunately, no.
But
This was an anomaly. Normally my Mondays are booked with
Right.
court appearances. This one was just a group canceled on me, so.
we're happy to have you.
Her Mondays are booked with court appearances. You're in
Yeah.
trouble a lot, I hear, huh?
So, if we have questions, we can always shoot those to Amy. Amy can get them to Charla. And, we can mull over all of this information.
I'm going to redo the life insurance piece and show you what, because I just didn't catch that we had that on there wrong,
Okay,
what the actual increase would be. And then I will lay this out in my format. If you just kept their deductions the same. So you didn't contribute any more towards dependents, like in the 50% range, like on the plan 2 for page 2. But if you just ate the increase, Amy says it's an additional 48.9 per year for you to do that. That's what this is right here.
That was from the average, so I took the average of what we paid in last year, so that's tax numbers, so it
Oh,
could be different.
Okay,
on
now
that.
I'll lay it out based on your current enrollment. So you
Okay.
can see what that actual dollar figure would be, and I'll shoot both of those over to you.
Can I ask you, can you email this to me? Okay,
I sure can. I'm just gonna fix that one life insurance
Okay.
page and then I'm add a third scenario of funding that we talked about, and then I'll email the whole thing to you.
okay, perfect, yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all y'all's work.
Of course.
Kathy's busy time, Charlotte's busy time.
Y'all are gonna hang out?
You said your morning's
In
open.
the end of this week. No.
But you'll be in the Panhandle
Thank you.
this week?
I'm up here today and tomorrow, and then I start making my way
Way
south
south.
and head to Austin on Thursday.
Well, tell everyone in Austin we said hello. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Amy, thank you for, it's a lot of work, I know. So we appreciate all your options given us. Yeah.
Sorry to bombard you.
We need well, I mean, there's not a black and white solution. We've got to.
There is never a black and white
I mean, there's
solution.
gonna be employees that are completely pissed about the choice we make, and there are gonna be employees that are happy that, I mean, there's so many different things.
Everybody's in so many different stages of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to reassure all of our employees that I hope they understand that we are doing our due diligence to find them the best possible rates or options that we feel like that we can give to our employees and still keep the taxpayers.
And this is hitting everybody. This
Yeah,
is
everybody.
just county, this is businesses.
Yes, everybody.
Private, public,
I mean, Charlotte mentioned
Yeah.
that with their
Insurance is-
company.
Every insurance is the broker.
even property stuff is going up like crazy.
Okay, so y'all be thinking about this. Charlotte will get us that additional information. If y'all have any questions, get them to Amy. Amy will shoot them to Charlotte. If you all feel like we need to have a meeting between now and the 24th, I'm gonna need to have that, like, maybe the 19th would be the last. So if we had too many questions that we didn't think we could get them all answered by, on the 24th, because we have to make a decision on the 24th.
And talk about it now.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We need to kind of talk about where we're
Yeah.
kind of wanting.
Leaning. Yeah, absolutely.
A
If
lot of
y'all,
choices for one meeting.
yeah, oh, yeah. If y'all have some comments or thoughts today,
I'm on the county insurance and I don't use it very often.
you do the HSA?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But it seems, and there's times I forgot, I've never had an HSA before, so I'll pay the copay. I just using my debit card. And then I'm realized, oh, we got a HSA, and I forget about that regularly. And, but I haven't had any major stuff. Has anyone on the court, have y'all had, I know, Gary, you're not on the insurance.
No.
Ben, have you?
Are you on the
used
insurance, Ben?
You have to get the question out.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, we don't need details, but have your experience. Tell us, Ben.
Sorry, what?
I do know,
Come on.
some of the people that are on the current dental and they are not happy
I don't have the dental.
with that at all.
As far as Blue Cross, they've been fantastic.
Okay.
We've had no issues. Zero issues.
Cool. Have you used any of, I mean, we don't need details what you used it on.
No, we want to know.
Yeah, tell us, Chris,
Can't tell you that.
that hair
No,
growth
being-
treatment on the mustache.
If I had hair growth treatment, my hair wouldn't look.
Oh.
No, I'm on the HSA and so I'm not using it except making and I contribute out of my paycheck what I can to the HSA too, because that's what, when we did the HSA, the sick and the healthy were the ones that we wanted to get on it. So, I mean, the HSA plan's a great plan.
It is.
I'm glad to see most of them are getting to that. And there's some places, well, they weren't here. There's some places that are getting rid of the 80-20 altogether and going to just HSA or HRA like they were saying, but I do agree that dental needs work. I mean, we need to fix
If we
that.
can,
Dental,
Yeah.
dental and vision is always hard to work out. They just don't pay well.
I like that dental policy, that tax offer. If we have to have 50%, which we might not meet that need.
I should ask the question, 50% of our total employees or 50% of our signed up?
People that are insured.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking Amy.
Employees,
So we have 130.
ones that that do qualify, because we have some employees that don't qualify, if they're part-time, temporary. Some of the state employees, they don't qualify, they're not on our insurance. So we have about 119 employees all
That
together.
qualify for insurance.
Would say out of the
60. Oh, 120, half of that's 60.
yeah, so at least 60 employees, where we have 27 right now on our current dental, which I don't advise anyone to add to.
So
How much is the dental premium that they're paying at present? Do you know?
Present for the dental,
Yeah.
$37, I believe it's about, it could be, it's either $37.20 or $36.90, it's somewhere
Right.
there. So, that's just for the employee only. And we've had so many, not only myself, and that's not the only reason, just because, you know, I've had issues, we've had multiple employees have issues. And then we have a whole bunch of people that just pay for it and don't use it, so they haven't had any issues because they haven't used it yet, so. But when they do use it, they'll have issues, so. We still have not gotten a bill since February, so, and I have been on them. We couldn't get any of the information that TAC had asked for. They still hadn't given us any information. So it's just multiple things, them not paying claims, not even able to get your bills. You know, we pay them every month, but we figure it to the exactly what, if we added or, any employees on there, but.
So if we went to TAC and we have to get 50%, the premium's gonna be lower.
Right, I sent out that email that I sent y'all, it showed the total amount if y'all were to pay 100% or 50% or 75% of the dental at the rate that they had given us. It was an email that was sent.
Was that on the Excel spreadsheet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that was on. I think it was just where I had wrote the information and what. Just on the actual email itself.
Oh,
I don't believe it was.
let's see, dental rates for employees paid by the county at 100% would cost $40,158 yearly. 70% paid by the county, $30,118 yearly, and 50% paid by the county would be $20,079 yearly. And vision would be 100% paid by the employee.
I've done research since y'all talked about it. And most taxable entities offer dental, but they have the employees pay for it all.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
normal. I think it's just, like Charlotte had said, this is tax requirement because this year only they went to where you had to have 50% participation. And because we have a dental plan that we only have 27% participation, that's the reason that they're requiring that y'all pay towards that, so we could hit our 50%. So,
It's an incentive to get more people to sign up.
well, but they will not, no matter if we're at 49%, they will not cover us. We will not even be able to put those employees on there, the ones that have. So we have to meet the 50% at all
Yeah,
times. So
And how are we
Us
gonna,
offering to do that
Oh.
incentivizes
the
them.
only way to do that is if y'all really
I don't
to
know.
get 50% participation from all the employees is for y'all to pay at least half of that. I feel that we would have that 50+ participation. Because they're only gonna.
does the 50% has to be actual employees, but then if they wanted to cover their family and all that, that doesn't go into the 50%. That's gonna be difficult to get.
What if
60 people.
What if they drop? Like, let's say they tried, and then in the middle of the year, they're like, I'm out.
Yeah, because they're on you're not able to, because it's.
You can only
Tax, you're on the
do it once a
125
year.
plan, cafeteria plan, and
Yeah.
you can't I mean, unless
Make
they
any
left the
changes.
county, you know, but that would be one less person on our plan. Have to,
But next year, if they drop below 50%, then
then we
we,
would not be able to offer that. We would have to find some other dental elsewhere besides through TAC. It's just, this one is a very good plan. So, you know, if it would be a better plan than some of the other ones that are offered. So, such as the one that we're at, Charlotte did say that there was some other plans that she could quote us on where y'all would not have to, we don't have to meet that 50% participation. So just really what y'all want to do. This is just a better plan than what she can offer. Is
Right, lower rate.
Normally, those dental plans, you know, you'll never get ahead. I mean, you're better off not even paying for it, but if we incentivize it, then it's worth it.
I think it just depends on your situation and
Well,
I've
speaking
talked
for
to
somebody
the-
who has dental insurance, not through the county, through my husband's. You know, yeah, whenever you have something major, it covers a little bit, but not much, but whenever you're getting your teeth cleaned every 6 months and they're paying 100% of it, that pays the premium right there.
Right.
I agree.
if you're using it like you should, yes, I mean, it definitely, I think it's worth it.
Just cleaning
But
and
I like to
x-rays
get my
and a
teeth
doctor's
cleaned every,
visit's
you
gonna
know,
be
Yeah.
let me ask you I guess it'd be a devil's advocate question. If, and again, this is hypothetical, no employee freak out what I'm about to say. If you had to choose for over a raise or a dental plan, what would you pick?
well, I don't think that the dental would make up for the raise.
Because it's
at
only
all.
$29.
Okay,
Why, it's both.
is it both? We want both.
Yeah.
What is that, beer commercial? Less feeling, tastes great. They're both.
Well, I mean, you take
Yeah.
your raise, you're paying taxes on the raise, so really, if you do a dental plan, this is all pre-tax, so really it almost, you know. But the dental plan doesn't even closely compare to if you were gonna do a $200 raise, the dental plan y'all will be paying out is $10. That doesn't really compare, you
Right.
know,
Tell
per
everybody that's what
employee.
Dwight asked.
Yeah, only Dwight asked that question. Yeah, no other commissioner asked that question. They actually looked at me with a grievous, is that a grievous? Grimace look.
I just want to think you're making them choose.
Yeah. Hey, will you send out a survey and say, y'all pick, what do you want? No. just
And I meant to ask her that before, so will you have her email those dental plans that she was talking about, the less enrollment?
The
Because
less enrollment, okay, I can, yes, yes.
she mentioned some of those, the coverages were about the same or better than what TAC had quoted us.
I think tech was better. They were a little less.
Some of the endodontics and periodontics she was saying was like 50-50.
Okay,
So some of the,
so there was some
She
better
said they are
than worse.
50%, these are 80%.
So I will do that. I know we need a dental plan, however, it goes.
Yes,
We cannot continue to,
use what?
August dental. It's a newer company and they just do not have their ducks in a row at all, by no means.
Okay, y'all got more questions, thoughts?
numbers as far as the
Right,
deductible, or as far as the coverage county employee breakdown.
in your heads. Anything else? Y'all ready to move on? Just please let me know if you have too many questions that you feel like you're not getting answers for, and we need to have an additional meeting so we can discuss this before we make a decision on the 24th. Let me know, not the day before. Because I think my last option to have that meeting would be the 19th.
So the 19th would be the meeting day.
If we need an
to know-
additional meeting, we'd need to do it on the 19th.
So you'd need to know on the 17th.
Well,
13th.
actually by the 13th.
Oh, okay,
That's this Thursday.
this Thursday.
Yeah, because if we have an additional meeting, you know, I got to post for 72 hours. And we're not open on Friday.
Okay.
Monday's too late.
Well, I feel more informed this year than I did last year, or I feel more
Unless-
confident.
Unless we post it on Monday at 9 o'clock and don't have the meeting till 1, I think we would still meet, when we still meet the 72 hours.
It's also an emergency situation. We can
Well, it's not emergency. It doesn't qualify for emergency.
Yeah.
find a- Ask our employee.
Well, I got my
Yeah.
knocked out.
So y'all be thinking about that. And if you feel like you're not getting your questions answered, then we can schedule that meeting. Good? Okay. All right. Yes, well, yes. Do I hear a motion to table the health insurance?
I moved,
We'll revisit it at our next meeting. Whether that be the 19th or the 24th.
I moved to table the consideration and approved health insurance renewal for 2024-25 for the future meeting, either special called or regular.
No, second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda and the regular agenda, item 3, is discussion about creating an elections administrator position. Kelly.
Yes. Do you want me to get up in front of you?
You can.
Or-
Yeah. Or you can sit right there.
For you?
Are you guys
No, I
fine with
got
Kelly?
it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Good.
Okay, so I was gonna have, well, I asked Alan, Bristol with TAC to have my back, like
Cat.
Carla, yeah, you know, you always want TAC on your side, which he.
Love you, Alan, but
Yeah,
he's
he
deserving.
cha-
That's-
Yes,
yeah.
he's
We've
leaving.
got Jay Maiden now.
Yes, and then Paul Miles with TAC is, helps with elections too. So I did speak with Alan. He came into my office. It's been a couple of months and just ask, why do we not have an election administrator position? There are, other counties of our population and size that do, and things like that. So it just kind of started getting the gears turning, which I had thought about some of this previously as well, just because of kind of the scrutiny and the spotlight that elections are in at the present time. And kind of like they had said on things, a lot of times it's the larger counties that create these problems for the smaller counties. But we still have to adhere to everything. So I'm just gonna kind of read off a little something that I've kind of done a little bit of research on, but administering elections has become more complex with new laws ever changing and cybersecurity contributing to a 40% turnover rate after presidential elections of elected officials and election administrators. Just because of, and that's a large increase since about the 2000s. This job has become more of an IT kind of position with many complicated moving parts, needing 100% dedication of time and attention. You have a lot of eyes looking in and a lot of checks and balances. It's not an easy job. And I'm just giving a brief umbrella over it. We don't have the time to go over every detail of what an election entails because it is a lot. A full-time election administrator roles are growing in this direction in the state of Texas. Over 17% increase in EA positions over the last 2 years. This should be a well-paid full-time position dedicated to our election integrity and someone to dedicate 100% of their time to it. I, as a newly elected official, want to suggest this change as I believe it will benefit our county, also with the opportunity for our cities, schools, and hospitals to utilize this position as well. It is difficult to give my all to my county clerk duties as as my office records over 100 different types of documents. We are the local vital registrar for birth certificates, death certificates, marriage license, as well as certified to complete acknowledgement of paternity and home birth certificates. We hold, file, and are deputy clerks for criminal, civil, probate, and guardianship court, which are becoming more and more demanding. Housing and recording all real property records for Hutchinson County, along with all bookkeeping and reconciliation records, along with escheating registry accounts. Also the clerk that keeps the seal for commissioners, courts, minutes, and records. These are just a broad overview of what actually goes into these office functions. I would like to dedicate my time to this county clerk office, to these county clerk office functions, and not just a portion of my time that is always lying with elections over an entire year. I feel this is a good time to discuss this as it's budget time, as well as we've purchased the ranch market, and there are some offices that in the basement area that may be going over there, and we have a committee meeting tomorrow on that. As maybe that position could take over one of those offices down in the basement area, as well as that could be a voting for our early voting polling location versus just in the hallway. I've spoken with TAC, Judge Irwin, and Leisha Craig, the auditor. I've also sent Craig Jones, our county attorney, an order creating an election administrator position, as well as order appointing election administrator, just for review in the event this gets approved at a later date. This is just for discussion, just an idea that I'm wanting to put out there. This position would not report to me. It's a dedicated position, typically under the county judge. I'm sure you may have many questions, which I can try to answer now or come back to you with any questions that you have. Elections, I do think need someone with 100% dedicated time to, with poll watchers, election inspectors, over 160 auditable items that we have to keep track of, scan in, and have in the event of a audit. There's just so many moving parts. So
I have a question.
yes,
When you said the election administrator would technically be under the county judge, does the county judge appoint that person, or is it, do we
yes.
go out for?
Well, there's appointment of county and election administrator I've sent to Craig to look at. I haven't heard back from him. But yes, it would be an appointment.
By the county judge or the commissioner's court?
The examples that I got was by the commissioner's court, but that
Okay.
they would fall under the judge.
So kind of like our library director and our
Right, or
museum
and
director.
maintenance,
Okay.
things like that.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have another question.
Yes.
Like, if you said other entities could use the EA, but would we, like, say the city of Stinnett wanted to do an election and they contact our EA, do we charge them a fee for that?
So you can charge them a fee, or if that person wanted to go to a board meeting, like to the city of Borger or a school board meeting, and possibly request a stipend into their salary or into their pay to always do
Be
their
available.
elections, be available for any school,
Okay.
city election.
Okay.
So I thought, that would be a possibility if, that position was created, if that person wanted to go to those types of meetings and request that. Otherwise, yes, as they are needed, they can charge the school entities, city entities, hospital districts to conduct their election.
And those entities would pay those stipends directly to that individual as an employee of that entity.
Right.
Okay, so the
person.
EAs that you are aware of, say in our counties
Mhm.
close to us,
Right.
do they Do they do that? Do they
Yes,
contract?
they do.
Is that overwhelming to have all those different elections? Because cities don't really hold elections that often.
Right, so I don't think so. I think it adds to, it's a full-time position, 100% focused
On
on
elections.
elections. So yes, with all your statewide, federal statewide elections that the cities and municipalities, that is not too overwhelming. Is my, I'm not sure because but that's my understanding.
It's just from talking to a lot of judges that I'm aware of, everybody's having this discussion because of the work they've put on the election administrators to
Because
dot all the i's and cross all the t's and.
So
you
what,
need someone reading legislation, all day. It is just, it's daunting because it's ever changing and there is such a spotlight on it. So it's hard to not be concerned that you're going to miss something when you're doing another, other job duties and job functions, when this is just very important election integrity over the state and the nation, that it be dedicated to someone that can spend their time, their 100% of their time. Another thing I would like to put out there is I would be willing to even like give up a deputy salary to go into that salary line item for an election administrator. Because I do think it would reduce some of the job duties in our office. And I spoke with Leisha, we already have an election GL, so it's not super difficult because that's already separated out of county clerk. It would just be a matter of adding in that salary line item. And all that goes in, with that longevity, Social Security, whatever, but into that GL. Or, that department. But it's just something to think about. I know Dwight's like,
no, so
it's just
I need
something.
to get back to the hierarchy. So, as you stated, they would work and be appointed by the commissioner's court, but they work for the commissioner's court, not the judge. That's important to know because Nancy doesn't work for the judge. She works for the court.
I can circle back to that. In some of my research that I've done, they've said that they report to the judge, to the county judge.
The only person that reports to the judge directly is Jerry or the emergency manager.
Well, then, and I could be misunderstanding it.
Everybody else reports to the court.
Because.
Well, not everybody, but the department heads.
Yeah. Because the paperwork does say, commissioner's court. So I could be misunderstanding that and I can get more information about that.
I would guess it's the commissioner's
Yes,
court,
because that's
not
what
just the judge.
these documents say at the top.
Yeah,
And it's all kind of.
because it's kind of a position that is the whole county.
Yeah, and it would be kind of.
Right.
It'd be horrible for a judge to have a election person that answers directly to them and they win the election.
Right, and that's another reason why I feel like removing.
I mean,
Yeah.
not us, but I'm just saying if I wrote. the
Exactly,
legislative law,
and the same with
be something to put in it.
us being the administrator of the election in an elected official position is a little bit of a conflict.
Conflicting, yeah. a little
And
bit.
getting more and more that way.
I'll have to say that when it's election time, the 2 weeks prior to election, and I'm just looking at the 2 weeks prior, those girls in the county clerk's office are pretty much doing nothing but election.
Nothing but. And like, I mean, even this week, I'm fixing to reach out for the presidential and make sure all of our polling places are booked because it's even facilitating. I mean, you have to make sure they're not just automatically booked and readily available. We have to make sure we have all of those polling places booked. We have to staff each polling location, and that is extremely difficult. And we have a presidential coming up, and I really struggled at finding staff during the primary. But you've got a staff. It's almost like running your own business of sorts because you're having to find staff and and then you have to, program equipment and do hash validation to encrypt these thumb drives that your state certified election programmers have sent you to make sure that they can't be cybersecurity attack on. It's like very IT driven as well. And then you have to load all of the equipment with these programs. You have to test the equipment, thousands of ballots just in testing alone, and then setting up. And it's just all meanwhile keeping up with legislation, law, to not miss anything.
It seems like election law changes.
It changes
all the
constantly.
time.
I probably had over 6 House bills and different legislation that had changed just on the last election. And curbside voting, extended hours, which is also, a daunting issue. Just constant change.
So if there were one person that's their only focus, they didn't have to worry about filing a probate or
answering a question, or somebody coming in the office or yes. And
it's just elections.
Right.
So no, go ahead, I've already talked.
So the question I have, so Carrie's office does a lot on the front end of things too.
Registration.
Are they gonna do that type of stuff as well and take some of the burden off their office, or is it only?
So a lot of election administrators do the voter registrar piece of it too. Who I have in mind would be willing and does help with some of that. I haven't gotten a chance to speak with Carrie in regards to that. I think she would be fine with it, honestly. And it would also put in a part-time such as Brenda Jackson that would help this election administrator during those times as well.
So an additional part-time.
Because that's Brenda's
No,
job
Brenda
now.
Jackson is
Is
a
the-
part-time,
Yeah.
yes, so that
You're
is
saying
her
you would go
for that position.
to that person.
Help the
Right.
EA
Right,
with voter registration.
with voter
Do
registration.
you have, in your research, have you found job descriptions for these people?
Yes, I have some. I have someone in mind that would like, I don't know if we'd have to post for the position. That was kind of a question I had for y'all. I didn't know if you can just appoint or if you post for
I
the
kind of
position.
think, I don't know this for a fact, but if the person is currently a county employee, we wouldn't have to go out.
Mhm.
New position.
Yeah, it's a new position. And I recommend every time to
Right.
just go out for any,
Yeah, that doesn't.
it just makes it look like we're
I
doing
can
good
check on it too.
stewardship.
Yeah.
But yes, I can get that, from another county.
So,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know there are probably a ton and I'll have
So
to.
my thing is if you're gonna post that and she's offering to, then you're gonna have to fire one of her, like if she's getting rid of her deputy salary to cover the salary of the.
Possibly.
Possibly, because it's not an elected official. So,
That's it.
yeah.
But it was in order to appoint, so
Mhm.
that makes it seem like you can appoint. And I'm just, being devil's advocate over here too.
It doesn't mean, so I don't like the idea of not going out because that's not transparent to the community. But that doesn't mean we can't
Mhm.
have somebody.
a predetermined
I
candidate.
understand. I
That doesn't
understand.
mean we can't go with that person.
Right.
That is qualified and applies.
But if someone who comes from Dallas, who was already an elected administrators showed up that already had their ducks in a row. I mean, as steward, you go, okay, this person knows what they're doing.
But
And
but
this-
then the,
Because if you're
the
gonna,
thought is then we're creating a brand new position, which we are,
Mhm.
or potentially. But Kelly's thought is that she would potentially move one of the people in her office and eliminate that position,
so
so.
what you
Would that
do.
have to be, sorry.
What you do in those situations, because this happens in every business, you create a different department, you go ahead and budget for that.
Mhm.
And then we go ahead and budget another
Mhm.
position, and then if we hire,
Mhm.
then you just don't spend that part of your budget.
And then you're like, no, I'm keeping my money.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you do. I mean, department heads and, no,
Right,
I'm
and I'm not
I'm reading Alicia's face.
I'm just-
So her eyebrow went up when I said that, but everyone, department shifts
You just create another
regularly.
position.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna create another position anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could,
Because she's got it.
but yes, she could, but we have to
And that
trust
was
that
enough-
she's playing the right game.
Right, and that was another discussion. I think our office has gone from 5 to 4. And now would be potentially, and I wouldn't want it to go in, maybe into policy from 4 to 3. I don't plan on it, no, but I'm not sure I would want that completely taken away. I think that we wouldn't need to have 4. That was just kind of, I've got someone there, she's done all ballot by mails. She's my right-hand man in the way of elections, very smart, very gung-ho, things like that. And that's probably a discussion for another time, but, that really would want to put herself out there and is very smart in regards to the election piece of the office, so.
We always create a position for need, not for person, in any organization.
Sure.
And so,
Well, and that's why I was first discussing the need in the way that I just feel like for the county and for elections, that there needs to be someone dedicating 100% of their job time to that for the benefit of the county and just the way the scrutiny of elections at this time, and it's only going to get worse.
yeah, because there's dockets on the legislative that will be pretty tough next year. Yeah.
I'm open to it as long as we talk with Carrie and pull some of that burden
Sure.
out too, because there is.
Oh,
there's several
absolutely.
Months that
Yes,
she won't be doing anything except registering. I think that would be perfect for that.
yes, because
position.
I had.
Both of those.
Absolutely. I had thought about that and it's even been discussed. I haven't had the chance to get with her with some vacations and things like that. I just wanted to go ahead and get this out there because I knew we kind of had a committee meeting about Ranch Market and some things like that. It's budget time. Everybody is submitting their budget by today. I just thought it was a good time to present it to y'all, but yes, that was definitely, on my mind was to talk to her and, I mean, it had already been thought about was to put her into that election administrator position because most of them also encompass the voter registrar and then maybe being able to have that part-time position, fall under the new election administrator to have help during, or however it needs to happen.
That's 2 job descriptions we gotta get on.
Yeah,
Because
but Brenda
hire
Jackson.
anybody with.
But that's already Brenda's job.
Yeah, she's
Voter
voter
registrar.
registrar,
She is voter
part-time.
Whole new job description, she answers now to the court or to that administrator court. Yeah.
Amy, did you have a question?
Legislatively designated as the voter registrar.
I will talk to her, but I know most all election administrators are voter registrar. Oh, you mean like as an elected official?
Yeah.
It's just
Where she's
taxes.
over the registrar, it wouldn't go under the court. I don't know, I'm asking. I know that she gets
This is every county
Original
voter
fund.
registration officials.
for state voter registration.
Oh, registration officials.
Did you have a question, Amy?
My question was just on the posting and the elimination of one position and adding a whole new department. I just felt like that if we're eliminating someone's job, then to post it wouldn't really be fair when we're already eliminating that for that person to go to that position. So it's already a predetermined that this person is going. I just feel like that would cause a lot of issues posting the position if that was the case. However, if, you know,
We're keeping it the four.
because she's already, or he or she is already an employee of the county, then, you know, that would not necessarily need to be posted. And it would probably cause more conflict if it was to be posted.
I think we
No, it's
can
good
research
business.
that and find.
It's good
That's
business.
why-
That's the only way to
It's
do it.
something that we would need to go through HR, through tax.
Right.
And question, because I'm sure there's other things that might have happened, just for that.
Similar to
reason.
this.
It's
I know there are a lot of counties that are moving this direction. Now, whether that person is a person that's already employed with the county, I don't know those, but I think.
The question is.
Well, as long
why do you
as you're
feel that
keeping the
they need a whole
position at the
new
county clerk's
office
office and just creating, them, there shouldn't be a problem.
to do this when you could keep them underneath and then also continue just to keep them doing 100% of what they're and keep them in your office? Like, why do you feel that they need to be,
Yeah,
you know,
It's just-
renamed as
that's just the way, it's just the way that it's going. When I go to election school, it's like the majority that are there are election administrators. I mean,
What I
so
can see
they,
from there is the independence of it.
yeah, they wouldn't
They're
be
not-
reporting
They're
to.
not reporting to.
To another elected official.
okay. I see.
They're reporting to a court.
Okay.
And so that would be kind of, I think that's where they get with the
Yes.
election administrators, that they have more independence.
And it protects
Mhm.
you. as
Yes.
an Elected official, I think,
Correct.
same with the judge.
Yes,
I mean, you don't wanna employ somebody who's directly related to your success or failure.
right.
And I know that sounds
Facetious.
facetious, and I don't mean it facetious, but even if TAC tells you we don't have to do that, I'm always gonna say we post every job publicly. Because it's just good business. My goodness, even if you hire the same employee,
But you cannot promise them.
no, you shouldn't.
cannot
And we're-
I'll be honest, you're not supposed to.
Your
yeah.
employee that they will get that position.
Yeah, you should never do that.
Because that's where it causes the lawsuits in the in between. If you
No.
promise an employee and you post that position, but you already promised them that they're gonna get it, that causes lawsuits for anybody that applies, then they decide they want to sue the county because it was already predetermined that they were.
But you can have a pre-identified candidate.
But if you say we are hiring you and promised that employee that position.
Right, no, you can't do
We're
that.
not
And
gonna do
then.
that.
We're not doing
We're not gonna do that.
That's-
We're not.
Commissioners.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not gonna be sitting here if we do.
I think you can have a post, have a predetermined candidate. You get maybe 5 applications, none of which are as qualified as your predetermined. You don't even have to interview. You can just,
Well, I understand that,
Yeah, let's
too,
see.
but it just opens
oh,
up.
I'm pretty sure you don't have to.
Okay, y'all can laugh all y'all want, but y'all can read in a lot of things that had happened in this instance that the county gets sued for, you know? So that's what I'm trying to
Right.
protect is the county.
Yes,
To be honest, so
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's not.
I think
We're on
that's
the
the
same
direction
page.
we're all going. Yeah.
that's why none of
But
us.
that's why I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
That was it. So.
Which you never know, we might get really good candidates. Who knows?
That's true.
Not from Dallas County.
No, Dallas,
No.
I doubt Dallas will be.
Harris,
Or,
or no, it was,
Travis,
it was, Carville, didn't they completely,
oh,
oh, God. Like everybody in their whole elections thing
right,
quit, like right before the election.
right before.
oh no, that'd be horrible.
Oh,
Horrible.
horrible, yeah.
Well, thank you for looking at
Yeah.
that, though. That was
Yes.
kind of cool. And I do believe it's something we need to look at. I kind of feel like, this may be next year.
Okay.
Because we're like 2 months, I mean,
Mhm.
due dates were today for all the budget proposals. And
Right.
then, I mean, I hate to say
Yeah,
that.
and
So
I-
to rush a decision.
Sure.
2 months is crazy to me.
And I understand that. I did give her kind of, my budget proposal and then some notations, on the possibility or whatnot. And just so y'all know, I mean, even if it were something that did happen by October 1, not that it has to or needs to, I just want to move in that direction. It would still be a collaborative effort for the presidential election, of
Sure.
course. I mean, we're already beginning that. So I often think it would be right in a transitional period. But whether that be now or later, we can determine, but
I think it's a good
I
idea.
feel like we're always kind of in the midst of beginning another one. It's a never ending cycle of
Yes,
elections. But, anyway, I just wanted to get it out there and get it on y'all's minds. That's kind of what we're thinking about. So, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You guys got any more questions for Kelly? No,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Be mulling that over in your heads.
Amongst everything else right
Discussions,
now.
okay?
We needed something else on our mind.
As if, I hated to follow that.
I'm just,
Okay,
I was depressed
Let-
that Long John, or, Red Lobster's closing.
right. Let's move on to item 4, which is to consider and or approve the interlocal agreement with the city of Sanford. Dwayne.
Wayne's been waiting patiently for his portion.
This is just an interlocal agreement. The city of Sanford, they put aside so much money a year to buy base material with. They contacted me the other day and would like to buy about 6 loads or so. And they would like to put it on this D street and have us haul it and blade it out.
Interlocals, just like kind of carbon copy of the ones we've done before.
And I
Yeah.
had Craig look at it. He texted me a while ago this morning, so it looked great.
And do you have one already signed by Sanford or no? Okay, so you're waiting on us. Okay.
Right here first.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on the interlocal with Sanford?
We've done this before, right?
We've- Do I have a motion?
I'm sorry. I move to approve the interlocal agreement between the Hudson County and the Sanford, city of Sanford. As presented.
So
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 5 is to consider and or approve any ARP projects. I did not have any this time. Item 6, consider and or approve any action from the February, March wildfires. Jerry, do we have anything? We
Everything's.
started
kind
the
of-
cleanup on the 28th, right?
Yes. So
Or the
they're
removal.
moving debris with contracted semis to Republic. We already got a first invoice in. So right now, as we're looking to file, that was not even close to what all of it. So they're still working on doing some transports. Depending on the schedule of the contracting company, when they have a larger semis available to transport. So they're constantly moving debris. So outside of that, the concrete crushing operation, I'm still in communication with TCQ. They've assigned somebody to this case to help with trying to get grant assistance to get mobile crushers on site to actually do the operation locally without having us to do the transport. It's kind of our option unless we want to look at that option. But if we have the opportunity to get TCQ to help pay for it, I think that would be good. So their recommendation is on the concrete, just hold off on it for a little while and see what they can do. Outside of that, that's all we have going.
That's good. Hopefully that'll come through. Y'all have any questions?
How much concrete have you got up? Way to tell.
There was about Well, from what they could tell on outside of the normal amount of debris is about 7,000 tons. A lot, yeah. But the biggest weight portion of our debris collection was the concrete. Obviously, had the heaviest portion too.
Yeah.
So about 7,000 tons will have to crush.
Hopefully TCEQ will come through for us.
Yeah, that's one.
Grant.
And then where does that go?
Well, after the debris is, or after the concrete's crushed, then we can choose to either use it, Wayne use it for something. Or if somebody, I don't know, we'll just have a big pile of crushed concrete. I guess. They say some people use it for road stuff on.
So Ben, if you use crushed concrete and then it rained, does it harden back over again like regular?
Very good for that, but you've got to be equipped to handle it, so. It works very well on roads though.
Let the people know about that. So we'll have some debris if this is what ends up happening, we'll have that available.
Okay, any other questions? All right, the next item is item 7, consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban. We're currently not under a burn ban.
And right now our drought index is at 215. This was the last meeting before the fireworks restrictions, and we're not even close to being able to implement any of those.
The firework restrictions for 4th of July, which we can only restrict sticks or fins, we can't restrict the sale of fireworks, is June the 14th. So we had to make that decision before then, but we're not even close to meeting the requirements to make that decision.
But same with our drought index, that just has some elections.
Can I ask a question? What if it gets like really dry for the next?
Well, we would still have to do it by June 14th. So we would have to meet the requirements by June 14th. And they are 575, 575 or higher drought index, and we're at a 2.
Yeah.
And that's right.
And we wouldn't even be close, probably, yeah.
I was just curious.
But yeah,
Emergency declaration doesn't.
You can't
have-
if you're under a disaster declaration.
Okay.
But we're not.
Not the drought, like it jumps
You
up.
could issue it if you met requirements on the drought index.
Yeah.
You could
Do an
issue a
emergency.
declaration for a continuation of drought. Then you could do some further restrictions or even more strict restrictions on fireworks.
Fireworks have a lot of rights.
They do.
They do.
That.
A strong lobby.
Never paid attention until I became commissioner.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, that there are legal fireworks holidays.
Yeah.
Legal,
Well, I never
like-
knew that.
Yeah, and 4th of July obviously is one of them, so. All right, item 8 is, so we said no action on the burn ban, so, okay. Item 8, consider and or approve request for use of the club room at the Borger Library or Fritz.
I don't need.
Okay, thank you. Item 9, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
Just did one budget amendment for the donations that were approved at the last commissioners court for the Hutchinson County Relief Fund. And just a couple of line item transfers for the departments.
I printed that. I printed it. Whoops. Hey, do I hear a motion to approve that amendment?
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Second. A motion second to approve that budget amendment. Any further discussion? All in favor? Dwayne, did you have a question or a comment on that line item? Maybe not. It's not really an action thing. It's just.
Some questions about budget, mainly about this year and next year's budget, as far as the purchasing.
Okay, let's cover that under our budget workshop then. Okay, just a couple more items. All right, item 10, consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting or awarding bids.
We still have the airport house bid running, all of those bids are due in by 10 o'clock on, the 17th. And then we'll open up at 10 on the 17th. As of today, I haven't received any.
Okay.
But we haven't checked the weekend then.
All right, item 11. Consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County. I haven't received any. Has anybody else?
There was that. Oh, there was one. I forgot to add that one. We did receive a $200 donation.
Okay, from,
The church group. You look at it. If you look on top of my filing cabinet, there's a red folder, just bring that red folder.
Is that from the Methodist men?
no, that was last time.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the Methodist women, so check.
Yeah, they're like, those men are showing us a.
Yeah,
We'll do,
well, they were the Methodist men of Iowa.
Iowa.
that's pretty cool.
I thought that was super cool.
There's been a lot of outside state religious groups.
Mhm.
I got distracted, sorry.
No, it's.
No, I told you that I would put it on there and
That's what I'm doing.
Hey,
got it.
well, we have a second. So did you, were you able to post that,
They know.
on the agenda even
No,
after?
Kelly did it.
Oh,
Because when you lock it, can.
yeah, you can still do
We'll do
it.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to
So
know.
I added
'Cause I may have stuff
everybody's
that
email.
Needs to be added after, just depending on how fast we get bills done, so that way I'm
I
not
think
keeping you from it.
Don't mind.
we can possibly give you access to post that. Let me talk to our girl and find out. We can. That would be the simplest thing,
Yeah.
since some of your reports do take a while. I do.
Our AP one really takes a long time to run.
All right, well, while we're waiting, we'll come back to item 11. Item 12 is discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. What do we got? Anything?
Anything major, pressing.
As Kelly had mentioned, we do have another committee meeting for the ranch market. Thoughts on tomorrow? Is it
Mhm.
tomorrow
11th
at 11?
or the 11th. I don't know if it's at 11.
Thanks, 4
Oh, 4, yeah.
Like the
Yeah, right.
11th.
Yeah,
The 11th or not.
yeah, you're right.
not 11 on the 4th.
No.
Yeah. So,
The cameras are up at the airport
okay.
and they really work good and you can zoom in and there's a couple of locations where you can see people coming in. I don't know about nighttime yet.
Right.
I've looked at them then.
Right.
Look
That's
at
cool.
daytime, but they work really good.
Did donuts last week, so good.
Right.
I do donuts every morning.
Anything else
So
on precinct daily operations?
I have a question. I
Uh-huh.
have, so there was a fire, as the fires has happened, there's been people who have been squatting on properties. And law enforcement has been involved, the sheriff's department's been involved, and the citizen is calling me because the lady claims it's her property. And she's been paying taxes. That's,
They need to get legal help. I think we've told them that numerous times.
yes, and they aren't satisfied with that answer. And I told them I would just bring it up in court, pick y'all's brain as a
But that's
group.
the only answer we can give them because we can't give them any legal advice. Because what, in the event that we gave them some advice and it was not good advice, then.
Yeah.
Well, it's not our, it's legal and law enforcement.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's not, we have no
Legal
rights to-
advice.
Yes, they just really need to get an attorney and get
Yes.
some legal advice. It might be a simple solution. It probably is, but then nothing's ever simple.
No.
Mhm.
Do they have to have an attorney to file eviction,
No,
so they could do that, but they just aren't.
And we've talked about some illegal dumping avenues I could maybe go down. But I told them I would bring it up in court for your,
if there's a property line dispute, then
Yes.
okay,
that could be, I hate that, but
I know.
it's but really our only option, I think. Anything else? Anyone else? Precinct? Okay,
Water leaks on the third floor,
Oh, no.
no.
more train problems, but no, nothing abnormal. Everything's normal.
What,
Normal
the
day in the courthouse.
air conditioner's working? It didn't feel like it was
For
working at
now.
all
They're
this morning.
they're okay for now. Condensate lines on the third floor. That's, we'll figure out what to do about that, probably pumps.
Not the
It's not
windows.
roof, it's condensate.
No, it's not the roof.
Okay.
It's condensate. line.
Yeah, is our roof
Like-
holding
Yeah, okay.
after the hailstorms we've had?
We have no problems with that.
A lot of rain, so it's good. And hail.
We've had any issues with.
How big's the hail been in Stinnett?
I heard here in town, 2 inches.
Thursday, there was.
Out west of
hard
town, it's
vehicle
about an
damage.
inch.
Out here?
Oh, yeah, my husband's.
That was not.
Post.
I wasn't here.
Awful.
You're not,
Like,
no.
Yeah, I know, I've
Oh.
been trying to do an ARP request
It's
for
2 hours time
carport.
difference where I was at.
That's
I
what I
didn't
heard.
I got-
track of time.
Trying to do an ARP request for carport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah.
That's on my-
Don't look at me.
That
I got so many projects now.
there are like grants, but they're low on the list.
Right, so hazard mitigation grants is what comes up after the FMAG grants.
Yeah.
We could apply for hazard mitigation grants, and part of that is hail resistant parking.
And we've talked about that.
That would be awesome.
So on Amazon, hail blankets are cheap.
I saw that.
That's all to let you know.
You just get nailed in the head when you go out there trying to put it on.
You know what the VA did with those solar panel carports? I don't know how well those are working, but have you seen them?
Hey, yes, but wouldn't you think that the hail would
hell?
heat up
I was about to say,
the
that's-
solar panels? I don't know.
And Ben.
Okay, let's move
wants
on.
Another project.
Let's go back to.
Okay, never mind.
Let's go back to item 11, which is our donations. Did you get that info?
Yeah.
No openings right now, Dwight.
We got a $200 donation from St. John's Lutheran Church in Ellinger, Texas.
Oh, that's so cool.
From where?
Ellinger,
Huh.
Ellinger, Ellinger.
Will you let me make a copy of that? Because I usually like to write everyone a thank you note. Okay. All right, so do I hear a motion to approve that donation?
I'll make a motion to approve the donation.
That's okay. Was there a second?
Ben did.
Oh, Ben, okay, thank you. Motion and second to approve the donation. Any further discussion? All in favor?
You threw me off with that one.
Ooh.
You get a stretch.
Forgot where I was at. Item 13, consider and or approve the sale of struck off tax properties and tax deeds. So we do have a couple. Right, those came in, they were on my desk when I came up yesterday, so sorry, I didn't get those to you, but we have 2 in the city of Fritch, one at 217 Fritch Drive. I put them on the portal.
Okay.
And the other one's Rambling Lane, and these are counter offers, and they have given us the counter that we requested. Or that the entity requested. So the counter is $250 for the property at 217 Fritz Drive. And I think it's $250 a lot. There's $1,000 on those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots on Rambling Lane. Any comments on those? Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve both of these counter offers as stated.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor? And then we have one tax deed from TCG. It's yours, right? Yeah. And it is property located at 308 Hedgecoke, South Hedgecoke Street in Border. And did you go by there, Chris, or
Yeah, it looks exactly like it does in those pictures.
like the
It's
picture?
just north of Minton Chatwell.
Okay.
So they. You wanna go through the,
They're offering $15,200. No, $15,002, not $200.
so it's it's a praise of 23,990, so that's more than 50%. One of those online auction things anyway, so.
The people that are bidding on it are from Grand Prairie.
It's just like the Rock Creek properties, you get like Florida and.
Right, I
random
know. It's
people,
like,
but
why?
Anyway, I'll make a motion to approve that bid.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, the next item on the agenda is budget workshop. And Dwayne, did you want to come talk to us about trade-ins? Has
Yeah,
some
but-
questions about trade-ins?
One question about trade-ins. First one is involved with this current budget. I budgeted to buy the pickup and replace the belly down budget. And I got everything, got the pickup done. Of course, we didn't use the trade-in. And every time I budgeted at the county, I've always allowed for trade-ins. And since we're not selling them now, I'm not getting that money. That money's not going back to the departments. So my question is I can move forward with buying this trailer. I'm gonna buy it through HGAC. I've got the money to get it, but not without the trading. If I don't trade a trailer in, I don't have the money budgeted to buy the trailer. And since I'm not getting money back for the trade-ins now.
On the Purple Wave.
On the Purple Wave stuff, that money's not coming back to departments.
And why are we not putting that back in?
Well, that was the understanding.
It just-
Go back to the department.
I know, that's
I
what I
don't-
thought too.
I don't
No,
understand
it
why
went
the
into-
problem.
Into their income, it didn't go to his line item.
Correct.
Who went
And
what?
But it did go in.
we have to record it as revenue because it's revenue coming in. We can do a budget amendment later but some of the stuff was purchased years prior. So it wouldn't go back to this year. It would go.
Why couldn't we put it back
We
in when
can-
it sells?
We can do a budget amendment
Then why don't we?
Yeah, sounds good.
for,
That's-
so
that's a
if that's
given.
what I just need something that's like the baseline of what we're gonna do, so I know what to do every time.
So this would just be my thought. If we have 2 sheriff's department pickups and a road and bridge pickup, and we sell them all in Purple Wave, whatever we make from those, we do a budget amendment back into that line item,
Back into their department?
that department's line item. Can we do that?
We can.
So that way, where like Dwayne figures his budget as like, I'm gonna get a trailer, but I'm gonna trade, so I know the trailer I'm getting is only gonna be,
So is that gonna just be, so like. so
10,000
sheriff,
for the
so they
2,000.
bought new vehicles this year. And the ones that were designated to get rid of, but so like the airport got rid of something that's old and new, so would that money go back onto their line item? Even though they're not really gonna purchase, I mean,
So the last department that had possession of the vehicle gets the credit.
Yes.
That's
I
what
agree.
I'd say.
Yes, because it's come to be
Well, I mean,
somewhere
even-
somehow.
so like they had a tractor that was bought, who knows when, that they put on blue or purple wave.
right?
But
They're just
they,
getting rid of junk.
they weren't buying a new tractor and this was their trade-in tractor. you
Right.
know?
They were just
So
getting rid of
that would
junk.
just be revenue for the county.
I would say so.
Because
What's the difference in if you had a vehicle that comes from another department and you want to trade it in, you'd say that's fine.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
I think if it's a using vehicle and you're replacing a vehicle you're using with another
No,
vehicle.
that's no problem.
If you were gonna trade it in
Yeah,
on that new purchase.
Right.
And then it would go back to their line item.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, then we can.
Yeah, but if we're just doing cleanup, like just going through.
No.
And get rid of.
You wanna-
old
Get rid of-
equipment, like old
We're
tractors.
gonna
or
auction these
snow-
chairs off or something, that just goes in operating.
Okay.
Unless,
Will that work for you, Dwayne?
Yeah, the second part of the question is though, that on this deal,
On the trailer?
on the trailer, if I bring the HGAC bid before y'all, and they bid it with the trade-in. We decide we don't like the price of the trade-in, we're gonna keep the trade-in ourselves. Where do I get the money from to buy this trailer until
Mhm.
that?
Until that-
Another problem is sometimes the auctions go over
Yeah, like it did last year.
over fiscal years. So you're buying this one in this year, but we're not having the Purple Wave auction until October.
Mhm.
And so now what you were gonna trade in on this piece of equipment is not sold until this, so I can't put the money back over here until we know what it's gonna be sold for.
But you're also using the money from those pickups that's coming back to your department. That's already been sold on Purple Wave.
I've had one pickup sold on Purple, yeah, that has not came back to my department.
Yeah, and
That
I will
should go
get
back
that
to your
done for the
department.
next, for the next
Would
budget,
that
or the
cover-
next meeting on the budget amendment.
So that,
So if Leisha puts that money back in your
That would
line
go back to
item,
Your department, so you shouldn't have to have the immediate money from a trade-in.
well,
that's, I would put it real close.
No.
And you're still gonna get in.
Yeah, I think.
That's why I didn't put anything back on their line items, is because it's gonna get into a cycle where it's gonna cross budget years and it's gonna make it difficult for him to budget what he wants, you know, because he can say, next year I wanna purchase this, this, and this. And I'm expecting some trade-ins, but I might not.
so the recourse, if you budget those without the refunds, is that it's gonna drive your budget
Yes.
up
And that was the
substantially.
second part of my question. When I budget my stuff for this year, do I need to budget the whole of that cost of that?
Without a
Do I need to
trade-in.
estimate?
Or-
amounts?
Or you'd have to start a new budget year and then you budget for all new purchases, and everybody does. 100%. The money from the what's sold on Purple Wave just goes back in general fund.
Right.
Yes.
And
We just
that's
need to know.
probably the way it needs to start being done.
That'll drive the budget, bottom line budget up.
Not the end result. It won't, because the trade-ins go back to the general fund.
And so whenever you adopt the budget, it may look a little higher, or you
Right.
could actually even budget for sale of property. So if they could tell us, well, we're planning on trading, you know, getting rid of this, this, and this, you could put a
Yeah,
budget.
easy
under
to-
it.
Like a line,
What we're purchasing, you judge what you're purchasing and what, you're just guessing at the trade value.
Yeah, sure.
It's an educated guess to get close as to what I'm doing.
How do you already know what that trade-in is gonna be?
So
If you
you
have-
guess-
he's guessing.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't know. This is just what the market shows in the auction results and what I've seen them sell for. That's what I'm going, that's what I'm basing it off.
well, seldom other means seems to be working a lot better. So,
I like what you said. So if,
I would say this coming year, you need to change your budget system and then budget 100% on what you need to buy. Then the trade-in or not trade-in, but what you sell will just come back to the general fund.
yeah, that's a good idea.
And then you're working with real dollars. We're not working about if you
But
cross
in the
boundaries
meantime-
one year to the other.
In the meantime, with this particular trailer, do we just say, go ahead and trade, so he knows he has the money?
No.
Or let
no.
Leisha put that money?
No, we're not doing trade.
Truck.
But, no, just put that money back in. Because you have no
And if it's
control
not
over
enough
this
for
year.
him to cover, I mean, it's the sale proceeds from that pickup isn't enough to cover
The purchase of the
purchase
trailer.
of the new trailer, then he's gonna be short on his budget.
Well, I don't know. I've got to see what a trailer costs.
I would like to say, the reason I'm asking, because we're thin. I mean, I know what the HGAC price is pretty close to what it's gonna be. And we're right. I mean, dollar for dollar, we're right there. That's why I didn't want to bring it to you and then cross this road then. I'd rather do it in advance, so I know,
Right.
you know, do I just need to get a HGAC price on just the trailer with the trade-in, without a trade-in? I don't know what you want to see for sure, or how you want to do this in the future, but when you get that figured out, then we'll know. Like next year's budget won't be a problem. I can do that. I can budget the full amount. That'd be a piece of cake.
We'll just remedy it.
So is this trailer gonna be posted or are you gonna co-op price?
It's a co-op price. Yeah, HGAC is a co-op price.
But I assume it's coming through partners again,
Probably, yes.
obviously. But, you gotta see what the price is and then we come up a little short, we gotta figure out how to deal with that.
We can remedy that.
I mean, we can make it happen. We're just gonna figure out how. Yeah.
And you may have to move money from a different account, or we may have to do something internally here.
And I like your idea for next year.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
It's probably the
Uh,
simplest.
I like your idea for next year. It solves that.
That's what I needed to
But I
know.
would start that next year, we just need to take that into account when you do budget, because
Right.
And that's the only reason.
That you're not getting any more trade-ins.
Didn't know what to say.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's-
Okay,
that's what
thank
I
you,
needed to know.
Dwayne.
Thank y'all.
We just worked through something as a team.
Make a decision.
Hey, does anybody else have anything on budget? Leisha?
All of the departments are due back today. I've been working on fire stuff, so I haven't been keeping a running total of who I have and who I don't have. But I've gotten quite a few of them back, so hopefully by.
Well, you made it really easy with that Excel spreadsheet.
No, it wasn't.
Thank you. Yeah. Or much
To
easier.
go fairly quickly once I start getting everything plugged in and.
And then we can really get down to the meat after next meeting probably will. And then once we get the certified values, you can't really do anything till then. Anybody have any comments on budget or?
well, and also like ARP is not gonna be here next year after the first year, so we gotta remember that when we have our projects to do,
Yeah.
Yes.
and budgets are gonna have changed because of that.
Okay, anything
Plan.
else?
Are you budgeting new chairs for in
Do
here?
you need a new?
Mine keeps shrinking. I feel shorter every discussion I get shorter and shorter. Pretty soon my head will just be laying on the desk.
Maybe I should. I don't know how long they've been here, long time. All right, if there's nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?